The massive circular chamber of the Galactic Council fell silent as Lisa Caldwell walked to the center podium. 6 months had passed since Earth fought off the Kralaxian invasion force. 6 months of rebuilding, of counting the dead, of looking to the stars with new eyes. Lisa straightened her blue diplomatic uniform and faced the 200 alien representatives. Some looked almost human. Others resembled nothing from Earth's imagination. All watched her with emotions ranging from curiosity to open hostility. "The people of Earth thank the Council for this audience," Lisa said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. This was only her third appearance before the full Council. The first had been to request aid during the invasion. The second had been to announce Earth's victory. Neither had gone well. High Counselor Vexnar, a tall being with gray skin and 4 arms, leaned forward. "Ambassador Caldwell, the Council did not convene today to receive Earth's thanks. We gathered to discuss the unexpected outcome of the Kralaxian incursion." Unexpected. Lisa raised an eyebrow. "You mean our survival?" Murmurs rippled through the chamber. On Earth, Admiral Frank Holloway had warned her about showing weakness. "These aliens respect strength," he had told her, his weathered face serious as they stood amid the ruins of San Francisco. "Show them that humans bend, but never break." Vexinar's yellow eyes narrowed. "The Kralaxian Empire has conquered 17 worlds in the last cycle. Their technology far exceeds Earth's development level. Yet reports indicate their fleet was decimated. We defended our home," Lisa said simply, "as any species would." A representative from the Zoltan Consortium stood. His translucent body glowed with blue light. "The reports also show weapons never before registered from your planet. Explain this advancement." Lisa remembered the frantic months before the invasion. The global cooperation. The scientific breakthroughs born of desperation. "Necessity breeds innovation, Counselor. Humans are very good at finding solutions when our backs are against the wall." Back on Earth, celebrations had given way to vigilance. At the North American Defense Command, General Eric Martinez and his team monitored space for any sign of a second attack. The orbital defense platforms, hastily constructed from repurposed satellites, had been improved and expanded. "The Council is concerned," another alien said, "this one small and insect-like. Species that advance too quickly often become destabilizing influences." Lisa understood the unspoken threat. Earth seeks peace and trade, not conquest. Bold words from a world that destroyed a fleet of the Kralaxian Empire, Vexnar said. "Some members of this council now view Earth as a potential threat. Others suggest we should have intervened on the Kralaxians' behalf." Lisa felt cold anger rise, but kept her face neutral. "And yet you did nothing. You watched to see if we would die." The chamber erupted in loud debates. Lisa stood firm as alien voices argued around her. From her earpiece, she heard the voice of her assistant, Paul Newman. "Ambassador, we're receiving an urgent message from Earth." In orbit around Saturn, the research vessel Northern Light picked up the first signs of trouble. Chief Scientist Olivia Garrett stared at her readings in disbelief. "Captain, these energy signatures don't match anything in our database," she said, brushing her red hair from her face. "But they're similar to what we detected before the Kralaxian ships arrived." Captain Steve Russell looked over her shoulder at the display. "Could it be another scout ship?" Olivia shook her head. "Much bigger, and coming from a different direction. Whatever's out there, it's not Kralaxian." On Earth, Admiral Holloway received the Northern Lights transmission. He immediately called an emergency meeting of the Global Defense Council. Representatives from all nations gathered virtually as he presented the findings. "Ladies and gentlemen, we may be facing a second alien force," he said gravely. "And this one knows we've already fought a war." In the council chamber, Lisa listened to Paul's update with growing dread. When he finished, she turned back to the alien representatives. "High Counselor," she interrupted the ongoing debate. "I have just received word that an unknown fleet is approaching our solar system." She paused, looking around the chamber. Now might be a good time to decide where the Council stands regarding Earth's right to exist. The Galactic Council chamber erupted into chaos after Lisa's announcement. Some representatives shouted for immediate military action against Earth. Others called for evacuation protocols. A few simply stared at Lisa with what she could only interpret as smug satisfaction. High Counselor Vexnar raised all four of his arms, calling for order. Ambassador Caldwell, these are serious claims. We require proof before taking any action. Lisa nodded to Paul, who transmitted the Northern Lights data to the Council's main viewing screen. The massive display showed energy signatures moving toward Earth's solar system. As you can see, the patterns match no known Earth technology, Lisa said. And they're coming from the direction of the Vega sector. A tall, slender alien with pale blue skin stood up. Lisa recognized him as Ambassador Zoldar of the Xeraxian Federation. The Xeraxians had remained neutral during the Kralaxian invasion. Those signatures match Volstrak energy patterns, Zoldar said, his voice calm but concerned. The Volstrak collective has not been active in this quadrant for over 3 centuries. A worried murmur spread through the chamber. Even Vexnar looked troubled. Who are the Volstrak? Lisa asked. Conquerors, Zoldar replied simply. More advanced than the Kralaxians. More ruthless too. Back on Earth, Olivia Garrett had returned from Saturn and now stood in the bustling command center of Earth Defense Headquarters. Screens showed the planet's new defense systems, orbital platforms, ground-based laser arrays, and the small fleet of fighter ships built using salvaged Kralaxian technology. The energy signatures are accelerating, Olivia said to General Eric Martinez. They'll reach Jupiter's orbit in 18 hours. Eric studied the tactical display. His face showed no emotion, but his hands gripped the edge of the table tightly. How do they compare to the Kralaxian fleet? Bigger, faster, and their energy output is at least 3 times greater, Olivia replied. Eric nodded. Then we need to be smarter. Get me Alan Pierce. In the training facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Alan Pierce climbed out of the flight simulator. Sweat soaked his flight suit despite the cool air. He had been practicing combat maneuvers for 6 hours straight. Lieutenant Pierce, a voice called over the intercom. Report to General Martinez immediately. 20 minutes later, Alan stood before a massive hangar door. When it slid open, he saw it for the first time. The Defender. Earth's first true spaceship built by human hands, enhanced with reverse-engineered alien technology. Its sleek black hull absorbed light rather than reflected it. Beautiful, isn't she? Eric said, walking up beside him. Alan nodded. Is she ready to fly? She better be. Eric handed him a tablet showing the incoming fleet. You're her pilot, and we need every advantage we can get. In the council chamber, Lisa faced growing hostility. Many representatives now openly called Earth a magnet for trouble. The Volstrak would not come without reason. An insect-like representative chittered. What have you humans done to attract them? Before Lisa could answer, Zoldar spoke again. The Volstrak do not need reasons. They seek resources and slaves, and they eliminate potential rivals before they can become threats. Potential rivals? Lisa asked. Your defeat of the Kralaxians changed how the galaxy sees Earth, Zoldar said. Some fear you, others admire you. The Volstrak would see you as competitors to be eliminated. Will the Council help us? Lisa asked, looking around the chamber. Vexnar's expression hardened. The Council must debate this matter. Earth's situation is unfortunate, but intervention risks bringing the Volstrak's attention to other worlds. Lisa felt cold anger rise in her chest. So once again, you'll watch and wait to see if humans survive. It is not personal, Ambassador, Vexnar said. It is pragmatic. Zoldar approached Lisa as the council broke into smaller groups to discuss the situation. He spoke quietly, so only she could hear. The council will not help officially, but the Xeraxian Federation is willing to send unofficial aid. Meet me at Docking Bay 12 in 1 hour. On Earth, As the first ships of the Volstrak fleet became visible through Earth's most powerful telescopes, Admiral Holloway addressed the combined military forces of Earth. "We've beaten one alien invasion," he said, his voice broadcasting to bases worldwide. "Now we face another. They think we'll be easy prey, weakened from our last fight. Let's show them how wrong they are." The Volstrak fleet emerged from hyperspace near Jupiter, their massive ships blocking out the stars behind them. There were hundreds of them, their hulls covered in spikes and weapons. The ships moved in perfect formation, like a swarm of deadly insects. From the bridge of the Defender, Alan Pierce watched the enemy fleet through the view screen. His mouth felt dry, but his hands were steady on the controls. "All systems online," he reported to Earth Command. "Defender ready for combat operations." General Eric Martinez's voice came through the comm system. "Remember your mission, Lieutenant. You're there to test their defenses, not engage the main fleet. We need to know what we're up against." "Understood, sir," Alan replied. The Defender moved silently through space, its stealth systems making it nearly invisible. Around Alan, a squadron of 20 fighter craft followed his lead. They were Earth's best pilots, flying ships built from a mix of human and salvaged Kralaxian technology. "Stay in formation," Alan ordered. "Target the smallest ship on the edge of their fleet. Quick strike, then retreat." On Earth, Colonel Natalie Rivera supervised the deployment of ground defense units. Soldiers moved anti-aircraft batteries into position around major cities. Civilian evacuation to underground shelters was already underway. "If they get past our orbital defenses, we'll be ready," Natalie said to her second-in-command. She watched as another convoy of military vehicles passed by. "This time we know what's coming." In space, Alan's squadron approached the edge of the Volstrak fleet. They were almost in firing range when alarms blared inside the Defender's cockpit. "They've spotted us," one of the pilots shouted over the comm. A group of smaller Volstrak ships broke away from the main fleet, heading directly toward the Earth squadron. They moved faster than anything Alan had ever seen. "Change of plans," Alan said, taking a deep breath. "Engage defensive pattern Delta. Let's show them what we can do." The Earth fighters spread out, their engines flaring blue against the blackness of space. The Volstrak ships fired first, green energy beams cutting through the void. Alan rolled the Defender to avoid the incoming fire. "Return fire, all batteries." The Earth squadron unleashed their weapons. Missiles and energy beams struck the Volstrak ships. To everyone's surprise, 3 enemy vessels exploded. "Their shields are weaker than expected," Alan reported to command. "We can hurt them." In the Galactic Council chamber, representatives watched the battle on the main screen. Lissa Caldwell stood tense beside Zoldar. The Xeraxian had provided her with data about Volstrak weaknesses, which she had immediately sent to Earth. "Your people fight well," Zoldar said quietly, "but the Volstrak will adapt quickly." As if on cue, the remaining enemy ships changed formation. Their weapons fired in a coordinated pattern that was hard to predict. 2 Earth fighters disappeared in balls of flame. "Pull back," Alan ordered his squadron. "We've got what we came for." The Earth ships turned and accelerated away from the battle. Most of the Volstrak ships followed, but the Defender's superior speed soon left them behind. On Earth, Olivia Garrett analyzed the combat data as it came in. "Their shields have a fluctuation pattern," she told General Martinez. "If we time our attacks right, we can punch through." Eric nodded, but his expression remained grim. "They're testing us too." This was just the beginning. At the edge of the solar system, the main Volstrak fleet continued its advance. From the largest ship, Supreme General Draknor watched the tactical display with 4 cold, calculating eyes. His gray-scaled skin reflected the dim light of the command center. "The humans are more resourceful than the Kralaxians reported," he said to his officers. "Interesting." One of his commanders bowed low. "Should we alter our approach, Supreme General?" Draknir made a dismissive gesture with one clawed hand. No, continue as planned. Their defenses may have teeth, but they cannot stop us. He zoomed in on Earth's image on the main screen. Send in the second wave. Let us see how they handle a real attack. In orbit around Earth, the defense platforms powered up their weapons. The planetary shield, still experimental and incomplete, began to glow as its generators reached full capacity. The battle for Earth had begun. Lisa Caldwell hurried through the curved hallways of the Galactic Council station, following Zoldar to Docking Bay 12. The Taraxian moved quickly on his long legs, occasionally looking back to make sure she kept up. What I am about to show you breaks several council regulations, Zoldar said, his voice low. But my people believe Earth deserves a chance to survive. They entered a small, dimly lit hangar where a sleek ship waited. Unlike the organic-looking Taraxian vessels Lisa had seen before, this one was angular and clearly built for speed. This is a data courier, Zoldar explained, the fastest in our fleet. It contains information about the Volstrak that the Council has hidden from Earth. Lisa's eyes narrowed. Hidden? What do you mean? Zoldar activated a holographic display showing Council records. The Volstrak approached the Council 3 months ago. They demanded information about Earth after learning of your victory against the Kralaxians. Lisa felt her blood run cold. The Council knew they were coming, and said nothing. Some members voted to warn you. They were outvoted. Zoldar looked ashamed. Politics in the Council is complicated. Older species often sacrifice younger ones to maintain stability. Lisa struggled to control her anger, and now Earth pays the price. Not if we can help it. Zoldar handed her a data crystal. This contains everything we know about Volstrak biology, technology, and tactics. Their ships are powerful, but they have weaknesses. Back on Earth, Olivia Garrett worked frantically in her lab. Screens around her showed data from the first engagement. Something bothered her about the Volstrak weapons. Run the analysis again, she told her computer. Focus on the radiation signature of their energy beams. The results appeared on her screen, and Olivia's face paled. She immediately called General Martinez. The Volstrak weapons aren't just designed to destroy our ships, she said when Eric answered. They're releasing a specific radiation that affects human DNA. They're using biological warfare against us. Eric's expression darkened. Are you sure? Positive. And there's more. The radiation signature suggests they studied human biology in detail. They couldn't have done that without samples. Someone gave them our biological data, Eric said, his voice hard. We have a traitor. In orbit around Mars, Alan Pierce and the surviving pilots regrouped. 15 ships had made it back from the first engagement. They watched as the second wave of Volstrak ships moved past them, heading toward Earth. Command wants us to hold position. Alan told his pilots. The orbital platforms will engage first. One of the pilots, Kelly Ward, spoke up on the comm. Lieutenant, I've been analyzing their flight patterns. They move like a hive mind. Take out their lead ships, and the others might get confused. Alan considered this. Good observation. Pass that to command. The Volstrak second wave approached Earth, 50 warships in tight formation. Earth's orbital defense platforms opened fire, their energy beams cutting through space. Several Volstrak ships took direct hits but continued forward, their shields absorbing most of the damage. Then the Volstrak returned fire. Green energy beams lashed out, destroying 3 defense platforms in rapid succession. In his command center, General Martinez watched grimly. They're stronger than we expected. Activate the planetary shield. The experimental shield, built using technology from the Kralaxian ships, flickered to life around Earth. It was incomplete, covering only 60% of the planet. The largest Volstrak ship, carrying Supreme General Draknir, moved to a position above North America. It began charging a massive weapon. In the council chamber, representatives continued to debate while watching the battle on the main screen. Some now argued for intervention, seeing the Volstrak as a threat to the entire sector. Vexnar remained opposed. The Volstrak assured us they only want Earth. If we interfere, they may target other worlds. A small bird-like representative stood up. Then the Council has been complicit in attempted genocide. This shame will echo through generations. On her way back to Earth in the Xaraxian courier ship, Lisa studied the data on the Volstrak. A plan began to form in her mind. She opened a secure channel to Admiral Holloway. "Frank, I have information that might save Earth. But first, we need to find a traitor." Admiral Frank Holloway stared at the secure message from Lisa. The idea of a traitor within Earth's defense forces seemed impossible, yet the evidence was clear. The Volstrak weapons were too perfectly designed against human biology. "We need to find them quickly," Frank said to his security chief. "Check all communications from the past 3 months. Look for unusual data transfers, especially anything containing medical or biological information." While the search began, Earth's defenses struggled against the Volstrak attack. The partial planetary shield held, but was weakening under the constant bombardment. The Volstrak fleet spread out, targeting the shield generators on Earth's surface. In her lab, Olivia Garrett worked with the data Lisa had sent from the Xaraxian courier ship. The Volstrak had one significant weakness. Their ships were powered by an energy source that became unstable when exposed to a specific frequency of electromagnetic radiation. "It's like a resonance cascade," Olivia explained to General Martinez over video link. "If we can hit their ships with this frequency, their power cores will overload." Eric looked hopeful for the first time in days. "Can we modify our weapons to generate this frequency?" "Yes, but we need to get close. The effect weakens with distance." At Mars orbit, Alan Pierce received new orders. The Defender and the remaining fighters were to be equipped with Olivia's modified weapons. They would need to get much closer to the Volstrak ships than before. "This is a one-way mission, isn't it?" Kelly asked as technicians worked on their ships. Alan didn't answer immediately. Finally, he nodded. "Probably. But if it works, Earth survives." In the command center, the security team made a discovery. They traced an unauthorized data transmission to a senior officer's terminal. The data contained complete human genome information, medical records, and defense system specifications. "Who?" Frank asked, his voice barely controlled. "Colonel Peter West, sir. He's been sending regular updates for months." Frank felt sick. Peter had been his friend for 20 years. Arrest him immediately. When security forces found Peter's quarters empty, a base-wide alert was issued. He was finally cornered in a communication room, trying to send one last message to the Volstrak. "Why, Peter?" Frank asked as security officers handcuffed the traitor. Peter's face showed no remorse. They were going to win anyway. They promised to spare those who helped them. "You're all going to die, but I would have lived." On the Volstrak command ship, Supreme General Draknor received news that their human informant had been captured. "It doesn't matter," he told his officers. "We have all we need. Earth will fall before the day ends." The Xaraxian courier ship carrying Lisa entered Earth's atmosphere, evading Volstrak patrols. She landed at the main defense headquarters and rushed to meet with Frank, Eric, and Olivia. "The Volstrak have a classic weakness," Lisa explained, showing them Zoldar's data, their hierarchical command structure. "If we can eliminate their leadership, the rest become disorganized." Olivia nodded excitedly. "That matches what we've observed. Their ships move with perfect coordination, almost like parts of a single organism." "So we target their command ship," Eric said, "the big one hovering over North America." In space, Alan led his squadron toward the main Volstrak fleet. The modified fighters carried the new weapons designed by Olivia. They flew in a scattered pattern, making it harder for the Volstrak to track them. "Remember the plan," Alan told his pilots. "We need to get close enough for the weapons to work. Target their engines first, then their weapon systems. The Earth ships accelerated to attack speed. Ahead of them, the massive Volstrak fleet turned to meet the threat. Green energy beams lashed out, destroying 2 Earth fighters immediately. On Earth, Colonel Natalie Rivera led a special forces team to one of the Volstrak landing zones. Small enemy craft had broken through the weakened sections of the planetary shield, deploying ground troops. "The aliens are trying to take the shield generator," Natalie told her team as they moved through the rubble of what had once been downtown Denver. "We can't let that happen." In orbit, the battle intensified. Alan's squadron fought desperately to reach the Volstrak command ship. Earth's future hung in the balance. The Galactic Council chamber was in an uproar. Representatives shouted at each other as the main screen showed the battle raging around Earth. The Volstrak attack had grown more intense, with hundreds of ships now bombarding the weakening planetary shield. "We must vote again on intervention," the bird-like representative insisted. "Earth fights bravely, but they cannot win alone." High Counselor Vexnar pounded his desk with 2 of his 4 arms. "The Council has already decided. We will not risk war with the Volstrak Collective." "Look," someone pointed at the screen. A group of smaller ships had appeared at the edge of the battle. They weren't Earth vessels or Volstrak. Vexnar leaned forward, his yellow eyes widening. "Those are Exoraxian warships. What are they doing there?" In the courier ship sent by Zoltar, Lisa had found more than just data. There had been a message to the Exoraxian fleet, hidden from the Council, ordering them to Earth's defense. The Exoraxian ships moved with incredible speed, their weapons firing on the Volstrak rearguard. Caught between this new threat and Earth's defenses, the Volstrak formation began to break. In Denver, Colonel Natalie Rivera and her team reached the shield generator complex. Volstrak ground troops had already breached the outer defenses. The aliens were tall and heavily armored, with 4 arms like the High Counselor, but their skin was black and scaled. "We're outnumbered," Natalie's second-in-command said as they took cover behind a collapsed wall. Natalie checked her weapon, but not outgunned. "The data from Lisa shows they have weak points in their armor. Aim for the joints and the breathing apparatus on their necks." Her team moved forward, firing with new precision. The Volstrak soldiers began to fall. In space, Alan Pierce's squadron finally reached attack range of the Volstrak command ship. Only 7 Earth fighters remained. "Activate the modified weapons," Alan ordered. "Remember, we need to hit them simultaneously for maximum effect." The Earth fighters released their special payload, missiles designed to emit the exact frequency that would disrupt Volstrak power systems. The missiles struck the command ship's engines, exploding in flashes of blue light. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the massive ship's lights flickered. "Its weapons powered down. It's working," Kelly shouted over the comm. Inside the Volstrak command ship, Supreme General Draknor raged as systems failed around him. "What is happening? Restore power immediately." His officers worked frantically at their stations. "The humans have somehow targeted our power core frequency. It's destabilizing." Draknor's 4 eyes narrowed. "Impossible. How could they know that weakness? Only the Council has that information." On Earth, Frank Holloway received the news with cautious optimism. "The command ship is disabled, but there are still hundreds of Volstrak vessels attacking." Eric Martinez studied the tactical display. "Look at their formation. It's breaking down. Their ships are acting independently now, not as a coordinated force." Olivia pointed to the screen. Lisa was right about their command structure. Without clear leadership, they're confused. Frank nodded. "Now's our chance. Order all defense platforms to fire. Target any ship showing signs of power fluctuation." Earth's remaining orbital weapons opened fire. Dozens of Volstrak ships, already affected by the frequency weapons, exploded or drifted powerless in space. At the Galactic Council, more representatives began calling for action as they watched Earth's unexpected success. Some smaller species had already sent ships to join the Xeraxians. Vexnar looked around the chamber, realizing he was losing control. This is against Council protocol. We have not authorized this intervention. The bird-like representative stood tall. Sometimes, Counselor, one must act on what is right, not what is authorized. On the Volstrak command ship, Draknor made a desperate decision. Launch the doomsday devices. If we cannot have Earth, no one will. His second-in-command hesitated. But Supreme General, our ground forces are still. Do it now, Draknor shouted. From the disabled command ship, 5 small, sleek objects were ejected, rocketing toward Earth's moon. Alan, still flying near the command ship, noticed the launch. Command, the Volstrak just fired something toward the moon. They don't look like normal weapons. On Earth, Olivia analyzed the data from Alan's sensors. Her face went pale. Those are planet killers. If they activate on the moon, the resulting explosion will destroy it and send the fragments into Earth. It would wipe out all life. Frank turned to Eric. Can we stop them? Eric shook his head. Our weapons can't reach them in time. Lisa stepped forward. But the Defender can. Alan Pierce pushed the Defender to its maximum speed, racing toward the moon. The 5 Volstrak doomsday devices were just ahead of him, their engines glowing with sinister green light. I need to intercept all 5, Alan said to Earth Command. Any suggestions on how to do that with one ship? Olivia's voice came through the comm system. The devices are programmed to spread out and plant themselves at specific points on the moon's surface. They create a resonance pattern that will shatter the moon from within. Can I shoot them down? Alan asked, checking his weapon systems. No, Olivia replied. They have defensive shields. Direct hits might trigger them early. Eric Martinez joined the conversation. Lieutenant, you need to get close enough to disrupt their guidance systems with the same frequency we used on the command ship. Alan calculated the distances in his head. I can catch up to them before they reach the moon, but I'll need to get very close to each one. Then that's what you'll do, Frank Holloway said firmly. The fate of Earth depends on it. Back at the Galactic Council, the debate had turned into open conflict. The smaller, younger species had formed an alliance in support of Earth. They demanded action against the Volstrak. High Counselor Vexnar's authority was crumbling. The Council has stood for 10,000 years by following procedures. We cannot abandon them now. The bird-like representative stepped forward. The Council stood for peace and cooperation, not for watching genocide. We will help Earth with or without your approval. More ships from various species joined the battle around Earth, targeting the increasingly disorganized Volstrak fleet. Without clear commands from their disabled flagship, the Volstrak vessels fought independently, losing their tactical advantage. On Earth, Natalie Rivera and her team secured the shield generator in Denver. The Volstrak ground forces retreated to their landing crafts as news of the space battle reached them. They're running, Natalie said, watching the alien craft lift off. But we can't let them regroup. She ordered her team to target the rising ships with surface-to-air missiles. One by one, the Volstrak transports exploded in the sky. Near the moon, Alan maneuvered the Defender beside the first doomsday device. He activated the frequency emitter, aiming it directly at the alien weapon. For a tense moment, nothing happened. Then the device sputtered and veered off course, its guidance system confused. 1 down, 4 to go, Alan said, already racing toward the next target. Time was running out. The remaining devices were spreading apart, making it harder to reach them all. Alan pushed the Defender beyond its safety limits. Warning lights flashed across his control panel. The engines are overheating, he reported. I might not make it to all of them. In the Earth Defense Command Center, Olivia worked frantically. We need to boost the range of the frequency emitter if we redirect power from the ship's shields. Do it, Alan said without hesitation. Just tell me how. Following Olivia's instructions, Alan rewired systems inside the cockpit, burning his hands on hot circuits. The ship shuddered around him as he disabled the shields and redirected power to the emitter. Range increased by 300%, he reported, targeting the remaining devices now. The modified emitter fired, its invisible beam catching all 4 remaining doomsday devices. They tumbled off course, their programming disrupted. It worked, Ellen exclaimed. But his triumph was short-lived. Without shields, the defender was vulnerable. A single Volstrak ship, breaking from the main battle, fired on Allen's position. The beam struck the defender's engine section. "I'm hit," Allen reported calmly as his ship spun out of control. Multiple systems failing. On Earth, everyone in the command center fell silent. "Can you make it back?" Frank asked, knowing the answer. There was a long pause before Allen responded. "Negative, Admiral. But the doomsday devices are neutralized. That's what matters." In the Galactic Council chamber, representatives watched in stunned silence as a single human pilot sacrificed himself to save his planet. Even Vexnar seemed moved by the display of courage. The bird-like representative turned to face the council. "This is what we should stand for. Not procedures, not caution, but this." On the disabled Volstrak command ship, Supreme General Draknor received the news of his doomsday device's failure. For the first time in his long life, he felt fear. "How?" he asked his officers. "How can humans keep defeating us?" No one had an answer. The Defender drifted near the moon, its systems failing one by one. Inside the damaged cockpit, Alan Pierce worked to restore basic life support. Earth was a blue jewel in the distance, still surrounded by the flashes of battle. "Lieutenant Pierce, this is Olivia Garrett. Can you hear me?" The communication system crackled with static, but Alan smiled at the familiar voice. "I'm here. Not going anywhere fast, though." "We're sending a rescue ship," Olivia said. "The Thraxians have offered one of their fastest vessels. Just hang on." In Earth orbit, the tide of battle had turned completely. With their command ship disabled and their doomsday plot foiled, the Volstrak fleet began to retreat. Earth's defense platforms, joined by ships from a dozen alien species, pressed the advantage. General Eric Martinez watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. "They're running. Order all units to focus on their remaining heavy ships. Don't let them regroup." On the Volstrak command ship, Supreme General Draknor faced a decision. His fleet was scattered, his weapons were failing, and his enemies were closing in. "Prepare a shuttle," he ordered his remaining officers. "I will speak with the humans directly." His second-in-command looked shocked. "Supreme General, surrender is not our way." Draknor's 4 eyes narrowed. "This is not surrender. It is reassessment." At Earth Defense Headquarters, Frank Holloway received the message from the Volstrak ship. "They want to talk," he told Lisa Caldwell. "Their leader is requesting a meeting." Lisa nodded. "Good. We'll meet them on neutral ground. The Galactic Council Station." Within an hour, representatives from Earth and the allied alien species gathered in the council chamber. The Volstrak delegation arrived, led by Supreme General Draknor. He was taller than any human, his black-scaled skin gleaming under the chamber lights. High Counselor Vexnar called the emergency session to order. Many council members who had opposed helping Earth now sat silently, avoiding Lisa's gaze. "The Volstrak Collective has requested this meeting to discuss terms," Vexnar announced. Draknor stepped forward. "The Volstrak do not surrender, but we recognize the tactical situation has changed. We propose a ceasefire." Frank Holloway stood up. "A ceasefire? After you tried to destroy our moon and wipe out our entire species." "War follows its own logic," Draknor replied calmly. "You would have done the same." Lisa stepped forward. "No, we wouldn't. That's what you and the Council don't understand about humans. We fight fiercely to defend ourselves, but we don't seek to eliminate entire species." She turned to address the full Council. "Earth proposes a new doctrine for this galaxy, one based on mutual defense and respect for all sapient species, regardless of their technological development." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Such an idea challenged thousands of years of council policy. Impossible, Vexnar said dismissively. The established species would never agree to protect younger, weaker ones without benefit. The benefit is peace, Lisa replied. And the alternative is what we've just witnessed: chaos and needless death. The bird-like representative stood up. The Avari support Earth's proposal. We have hidden in fear of the stronger species for too long. One by one, representatives from the younger species voiced their support. Even some of the older, more established species began to reconsider their positions. Near the moon, the Thoraxian rescue ship located Alan's damaged defender. As they prepared to dock, Alan looked out at the stars one last time from his cockpit. "You should see this view," he said over the comm to Olivia. "It makes all the fighting seem so small." On Earth, cities began to emerge from shelter as news of the ceasefire spread. Humans looked up at the sky with new understanding. They were not alone in the universe, and now they had allies. In the council chamber, Lisa presented the formal document, the Earthen Doctrine of Mutual Defense. As representatives began to sign it, she noticed Draknur watching from the side. "Your species is dangerous," the Volstrak leader said quietly. "Not because of your weapons, but because of your ideas. They spread like fire." Lisa smiled. "That's the most human thing you've said yet." As the new alliance took shape, reports came in from deep space monitoring stations. Something was moving in the darkness beyond the edge of explored space, something ancient and vast. Humanity had passed one test, but an even greater challenge was approaching. The true test was yet to come.